Ita hola Namibia, welcome to the Tribe here on One Africa TV. My name is Shea Ulenga, and this week on our Tribe exclusive, we're speaking to Namibian Award-winning singer-songwriter Shishani, currently based in the Netherlands, but hoping and praying to come home and give us a little bit more of her music. Plus, we get to talk to Sharon Chimbundu, at the center of a lot of controversy on social media, but the girl's here to tell us all about it and for us to really get the story straight. Don't go anywhere, we will be right back. Shishani, thank you so much for making time out and talking to us today. As I mentioned to you before we started recording, that Namibia misses your presence, and we're so glad to be able to catch up with you and find out what kind of work that you've been doing. Let's talk about just where you're finding yourself in the world right now.
Right now I'm in Amsterdam as we speak, Amsterdam Zuidoost, what they used to call the Bijlmer and the ghetto part of Amsterdam, but it's actually the most colorful part and really buzzing with creativity. So this is where I live at the moment, and from here I'm writing, I'm doing collabos, I can travel easily, so of course now with COVID it's a different situation. This has been my base for I think the past 3 years, 4 years even, so it's been a while since I've been home. And I miss it, and I'm really happy to see you and to be here on this platform. So thank you for having me.
No problem. Let's talk about just the experiences. You're saying that it's a really creative space that you're finding yourself in, but zooming in and homing into Namibian stories, how does the audience there receive it, and how are you finding that place inside yourself to deliver that story?
Well, it's always been kind of a challenge to find a balance, because for me, I'm just like, guys, you don't know anything about Namibia. Why can't I find anything in the libraries? Why couldn't I find any CDs in the libraries, in other CD shops? So it was always this kind of longing to find, material from home before the whole YouTube era. And since, I started studying, and I was like, what could I do? I really wanted to contribute to having that material in those libraries because I missed it. So I think 5 years ago, maybe even 6 by now, I started the project Namibian Tales, where for me it was also diving into learning how to sing in Oshiwambo, learning the rhythms. That was the first album, more like a personal story. And then with the second album, we went and we worked with the San communities close to Tsumkwe. And they taught us amazing songs. We recorded it, we toured around in Europe. We did our live album at the Warehouse Theater in Windhoek. And it's been, for me, like having that experience and being so connected to where I'm from, it's not something that I think about. It's like I non-stop want to share where I'm from, because also even if you're born here and you're a person of color, people will always keep asking, but where are you from? Even if my family was born here 3-4 generations before. So I've always had that pride, but I didn't grow up with Oshiwambo, so for me it was always like, okay, what can I finally do something? And this project for me was a way to connect with the language. And also because a lot of people know the history about Africa, but they have no clue that Namibia was part of South Africa, that we went through apartheid. So I've been banging on all the doors here and just been saying, like, where is Namibia's whole story? So with some websites and with some like library institutions, I've been able to push that forward, and they've included Namibia in that whole story, because I really missed just people knowing this country, what we've been through, how we're also connected to the Netherlands, because they're like, oh, it was a German colony. I was like, yeah, it was a German colony, but we all speak Afrikaans, so we're also linked.
Yeah, we are also linked because the Deutsch, yes. And I
we
love
have to talk about this.
Definitely, you are one of the artists from the land of the brave that really does take our culture and what our heritage is and really shares that story with the rest of the world. Even what you did with the San communities up there in Chumkwe, it was an amazing thing to be able to watch and see how those women's faces light up when they deliver their stories. And you bought that, you built that bridge, and we really appreciate that. You've also been very busy over the last year. You've been working with artists in Netherlands, in the European space, creating. You touch base with sisters from that space as well. Tell us about some of those things like Try, as well as the Sisterhood and the New Human projects that you've been working on.
As I was looking back on what I've been doing the past few years, and then with Namibian Tales, how we highlighted the San women, I realized like I really wanted to center female artists in everything I do from now on, because even in 2021, it's still special if you have a band that consists of all, women playing the bass, the drums, writing the songs, being the composer, being the sound engineer, being the producer. And I was just flabbergasted. Like, why is it even hard for me to name a few bands with only female players? They're just not as seen. There's not as visible. They're not as popular. And I was just like, I have so many ideas, so many songs that I've been stacking up over the years. And I want to record this with fellow women. And I know some great musicians, so let's bring them all together. And this is how I started the band Miss Catharsis. So we go by the name Shishani and Miss Catharsis. I write the music, it's my concept. But I really wanted to center women of color to bring in their influences, their styles, their vibes, their life stories, their heritage, because they're also from all over. So one lady's from Curacao, the other from Colombia, the other one has roots in Indonesia. So these are also all countries kind of linked to Dutch heritage, maybe not Colombia. But for me, it's just really important to tell our stories and to represent and to be there and to be visible, and for other, mainly young girls, to see like, wow, this bass player is amazing. But those examples lack. And it doesn't mean they haven't been there, but they just need more visibility. So same thing with Sisterhood. I got asked to do a live stream concert for the Dutch embassy in Indonesia. Indonesia was a Dutch colony. So I thought, okay, I could sing I could sing Windhoek, I could sing Minority, I could sing all of these songs, but I don't know anything about this country, about Indonesia. Like, I know there's such a long history with the Dutch past. What could I learn from them? So then again, I thought, okay, but who do I work with? And without, within, I mean, history, the voices of women, especially when it comes to colonial past, has always been silenced. So I was like, I want to foreground these voices. So let me find female artists that have roots in Indonesia. So I found many talented women, spoken word artists, dancers, drummers, like you name it. People specialized in batik, like the print of the fabric. And we just created something together because I also wanted to show that we have a shared heritage. It's like, I can be from Namibia. I can, my first language that I heard was Afrikaans. I come to the Netherlands, nobody knows where Namibia is. Indonesia, same thing. These stories need to be told. And it's not just like you Indonesians and us, whatever, Namibians or people from Suriname. We all have a shared heritage. How can we tell the story together? How can we create safe space together? How can we tell our stories in our own perspective? How can we even heal what has been broken together? So this is what I've been trying to create, like platforms where especially female artists or gender non-conforming artists can come together and we can just, we can be ourselves and share our perspective, because this is what has been silenced for too long.
That's what it is. And just being able to tell that story, such a beautiful thing. Sisterhood, I love it.
Yeah.
And all those different heritages, you're talking about Indonesia, Colombia, coming together to make one song that's going to change the hearts of many people around the globe. But obviously, speaking of the globe and changing the hearts and minds, COVID has been one of the things that has hit us really hard. Over here at home, the industry has really been brought down to its knees because artists are not being booked for gigs anymore, or they're not finding ways of creating more money for themselves. How have you been surviving? How have you been working and finding solutions for the challenges that COVID-19 has brought upon the industry where you're finding yourself?
For me, it's been a really interesting year because I nearly had more work than even before COVID. And this has to do with the fact that, in May last year, the world woke up. Black Lives Matter movement erupted, took over the world. And, as COVID is happening, you also see who is hit, those that are less fortunate. The divides are getting larger. People are feeling and understanding like this is, the impact between human beings, those that have, that don't have, is getting larger. The climate, everything is on fire, or the ice is melting, or, you know, disasters happening, floods. So because of all of these issues, I think people started seeing like, wow, we need music that also speaks about these issues. And I've been, you know, as long as I've been making music, I was making, let's say, socially engaged music. And it was never a hip thing. You know, it was never like the most popular thing on the radio. I would get booked for certain events where we talk about these stuff, things. But all of a sudden, like the hotline was just ringing, and they're like, we need a protest singer, we need this, we need that, we need somebody who's talking about, you know, environmental issues, we need somebody talking about human rights, we need somebody blah blah blah. So for me it just exploded, whether in a very small setting with 30 people. For the Netherlands that was, you know, the maximum amount of people allowed in a space, or via Zoom like we're doing now.
Shishani is with us on a Tribe exclusive. When we get back, we're going to go back into detail with her as to what else she is up to and when she might be coming back to the land of the brave.
Time, but now we say goodbye. Though it's raining, words escaping me, no explanations to.
If you're just joining us, you're making it right on time for our Tribe exclusive featuring Namibian singer-songwriter, mind you, award-winning artist who's currently based in Netherlands. Shishani is joining us all the way from out there. Well, let's continue. Let's touch base with, obviously you have had kind of, let's say, the best of both worlds. You've had Africa, and like you've mentioned, you're out there in Europe as well. But what's the differences that you see? What are some of the things the entire industry, Land of the Brave, can learn from what's happening in the Netherlands and how artists are pushed and supported? What are some of the things that we can take and make our own in order to create better spaces for artists to thrive?
Well, I think structural support, I would really say, because, you know, people have been fighting since forever. You know, musicians have been making music since forever, but it's about the platforms that we're creating. So if you have a stage that can keep running and doesn't have to worry about, you know, how many people, how many tickets do you sell, as a meeting ground, as a breeding ground for new talent. If you have the stable places where people can go to because they know they can find art, where artists can go to because they know that they can share their work, they can develop, that's really the starting point. So we need financial support, we need venues, we need partners. That's what it's all about. In the Netherlands, you have a few institutions, art institutions, where, you know, they give funding for these kind of artistic development and certain, how can I say, concert halls and you know, spaces where people can develop their skills. So I would really say it's all about finance, and it's really about understanding the value of art. This is the whole point. Everybody's in lockdown. We're all listening to Spotify, YouTube, watching Netflix. We're doing, I don't know what, we are depending on the arts to keep us mentally sane.
That's true, that's right.
Yet we don't want to pay artists, yet we don't want to invest in arts. And the arts, if you see like how Nigeria is doing export of music, you can make money. So it's not just like a charity thing when you support the arts. You're keeping your society, your community healthy, because we need to express ourselves, we need to gather, we need to meet, we need to exchange, we need to grow, because the arts is also a way to share ideas, to you know, like to support each other even. So I would really say, like, I hope business people, government really understands the value of art, because that has always been lacking. The moment we really take it serious, I mean, why does everybody go to New York? Not just because of the buildings. You go there because it has an aura of like, wow, New York, everything's happening here. You can do anything. And that's driven by artists everywhere in the world.
And realize that art can actually contribute to the growth, the GDP of your country. It really absolutely can. It's doing that all over the world. Talking about charity and giving back, you have an initiative called the Namibia Tales Crowdfunding Initiative. How can we contribute? How can we be part of that? And also as Namibians contribute to that platform that you've created, that space?
We started this crowdfunding because, of course, we have the links with the communities that we've worked with over the past 3-4 years, and we got a message like, you know, this is really getting hard, people are going hungry. So it was pretty simple. We just started a crowdfunding platform where people can donate. So I'll share the link with you, And what we do is we gather amount of money, we set a date, and we send a food delivery. So we have a direct link with our driver, with our translator who knows us, who knows the community, who we trust. That like when you send your money, you know where it goes to, because that's the scary thing. You don't want to just send money because they think, well, somebody's going to put it in their pocket. So we keep track of the receipts. We have the pictures. We really try to keep a connection also to those that are supporting, and the communities that he drives out to deliver. So that link I can share for sure. We just did a delivery, I think, a few days ago, and then you also have Save Namibia, which is really focused also on the youth. So with COVID hitting and people just not being able to make the money and feed their families, let's support each other.
Yeah, let's find a way to give back. We miss you. I've said that so many times in this interview. We can't wait to experience.
I miss you too. I miss home. I miss the vibe. I miss the people. The difference between Namibia and the Netherlands here, it's like you sing a song and they're like, oh, that was pretty. And in Namibia, you're just like, yeah, you get the energy, you get the support.
The woman.
It's real.
It's real.
It's something else. It's uncomparable. So I'm so happy that my first years that I really was in Namibia, and I really got all the energy and all the love to be able to do what I'm doing right now. So I just want to say that as well to everybody.
Experience you anytime soon again on stage? Can we tap into a link to watch you performing online? Where can we go?
Yeah. So. The 17th of September, I'm dropping a new single, which is called Belong to You. So 99, everybody, you better be ready for that one, because it's been quite a bit on my side, but I'm really excited about this new single. There will be some online events coming here and there, but I also am really hoping, praying, planning that I can come home in November, because it's been a long time. And I really miss the energy. I miss everybody.
Oh, Ayana, we miss you too, toch? Listen, has your Afrikaans improved while you were there? Huh? Has your Afrikaans, Afrikaans improved while you were there? Prakere,
I hope, man. I hope so.
Okay, social media platforms, a website, just before we wrap it up.
Yes, so www.shishani.nl. That's where you find everything. You find all the videos, the agenda, like when are the shows coming. Also an overview of the things that I've done before. Social media, Instagram, so that's shishani.music. Same thing for Facebook, shishani.music. So if you just look shishani.music, you'll find me.
Listen, once again, thank you so much for taking time out, and thank you for making us proud. Thank you for taking our Namibian stories and sharing that with the rest of the world, and teaching other people about us and learning from them, and being able to, when you get back, be able to share that with us. We look forward to your growth. We're holding your hand wherever you are. We are the ones who are holding your guitar strings tight for you, my dear, there, out there. So, so thank you for doing us proud.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one, Shishani. We'll talk to you soon again.